This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the chairman of my largest personal holding, and I know people get sick of hearing it, but it's that way for a reason. Speaking with Mr. Michael Hudson from Hannan Metals. Mike, it feels like, it sounds like, and it looks like it's go time. First and foremost, how are you, sir?
I'm very well. Always happy to speak to you, Gerardo. Such a we love big shareholders who to share the dream.
Well, listen, it's time to see if that dream is going to become a reality, at least as it relates to three projects, right? And I want to talk about those here in a bit, but I have to start by acknowledging the April 7th release, where you extended the high grade gold mineralization at Previsto, which we all now call Cripple Creek or the Monster. You could pick your name and your analog, but it definitely looks like you're on to a monster. You did now extend that existing trench, right? That was 69.1 meters of 2.4 grams per ton gold, and had some high grade in there. It's now 135.2 meters at 1.3 grams per ton gold, and just for kicks, you found some new outcropping mineralization 35 meters from the gold mineralized channels. So I know you just got back from site. I'd love to get your take on the release, on what you saw there and how you're feeling here. And then we can talk about Sortilegio, Vista Alegre, and Ricardo Herrera.
It was my first time post the discovery to visit. So we made the discovery in December. So I can't say that I was more and more excited to see it in the flesh, and I suppose it is everything we hoped, in my mind at least. It is absolutely an alkaline gold system. We saw the very high grades. We saw how they matched and lithologically were very similar, and we saw how their orientations and that we were sampling them appropriately and how they fitted into the larger structural picture. So the monster is starting to show itself poco a poco, or little by little, as we get more work done. There's certainly a sea of gold, this low grade gold, which is what the actual channel extension, the 60 plus meters, was only at the lower grade, but it all had context. And then we found some very higher grades, a meter or two at half ounce, 18 to 20 type gram numbers, and they were extensions of the high grade structures. So this is what Cripple Creek or Porgera were. They were high grade underground mines that turned into low grade heap leach operations later in their life, and that's sort of what we're seeing here at Previsto, which is a high grade system, and we've got a lot more work to pull that apart within this sea of gold.
Let's look forward to Belen, because I couldn't be more excited to finally get drills turning. It's been many years of very hard work. I want to congratulate you and the entire Hannan team for the social license work, the work in the field, de-risking the targets. You were able to be really opportunistic during COVID and actually get really familiar with prioritizing the best targets, right? And so clearly Previsto has emerged as what's going to be eventually the flagship. But in the meantime, we have the potential for billions of pounds of copper and millions of ounces of gold. And I don't believe the market is completely checked in on the potential on these first three targets that we'll be drilling here soon. Clearly everybody, because everybody I've spoken with knows what the monster is, knows what Previsto is likely to become. But I don't think that Hannan gets enough credit for these three projects that we're going to start drilling here soon. Can you speak to that a bit?
Well, we've been working in Belen for longer than we have Previsto, so we've got much more de-risked targets in those areas. It's a 9 kilometre long system. There's two porphyries sandwiching in between an epithermal system. We have 40 drill platforms permitted. We'll start drilling that system later in April. Early May, we had the drillers at site scouting the area while I was there. So it's all starting, and we sort of like to underplay a bit, because you always like to you always like to over deliver and under promise, and that's what we can do here with these projects. But any one of them could be a game changer for the company if they come through. The Ricardo Herrera porphyry, the Vista Alegre epithermal target, which is where we'll start, and then the Sortalecchio alkaline system also. It's another alkaline system there. So it's going to be a really, really interesting moment.
So, and this part's important, right? It sounds like you said that we're going to be starting the drilling at the 100% owned gold target, correct? Vista Alegre?
Yes, that's correct. That's that's what we like. We like the gold targets specifically because it can change a junior's life quicker than a porphyry copper can in isolation.
How are things coming along in regards to advancing the permitting process at Previsto? Something that was in the news release, but it was, mentioned in passing, and further down the release was the intent to submit a DIA in Q3 of this year, which again, it was music to my ears as a shareholder, right? Can you speak to the permitting process and how things are coming along there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's ongoing. We've just engaged an environmental consultant. We've got they'll start on the ground shortly, working there, and we hope to have all the environmental data collected by mid-year. So it's progressing, and we're talking with all the authorities. So that's advanced a hell of a lot.
When I visited the project, it was clear to me that the community wanted the economic stimulus that would happen as a result of, potentially multiple discoveries over many, many years. How is the social license work coming along in regards to, not just the projects at Belen, but clearly at Previsto, right?
We've got the local people are massively supportive. We've worked there for years to demonstrate our credibility, and we everywhere where we've got the DIA area, we've got sign-offs from the local communities. We're working with all the local authorities right up through to the Ministry of Mines to make sure we can do things as we state we will do them, which is totally openly, transparently, and appropriately. And we're the first company really opening up this whole new area, so it's there's a lot of responsibility on the company's shoulders to make sure we do everything in a world-class manner, and we've got the support to do that, and now it's our challenge to make sure we ensure we do it, and I've got no doubt we will.
With gold at $3,200, and by all by all the geopolitical tension, the economic, the monetary misappropriations here in the U.S. and around the world, looks like gold's headed much higher. How much do you think a Cripple Creek would be worth in 2025 or 2026?
Well, yeah, what's tens of millions of ounces in the ground? It's a world-class opportunity that we have. So it's certainly well north of where we are now if we have success, Gerardo.
Mike, excited to get the drills turning at the 3 projects that we'll be drilling here. Hopefully end of month, first week of May is the target for that. Can't wait. Looking forward to having you back on. Thank you so much. Anything to add to that, Mike?
No. Thanks again, Gerardo. We're at that pivot point we've been waiting for a while, and a very exciting moment for the company. So thanks again for your time.
Excellent. Thank you. Chat again soon.
Okay.
Cheers. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.